Kathy, Nick, you see what that is? Babe, you can stand up, move around. The rest of you can't see it. You can see what that is, right? Can you make it out? Matthew, really? Oh!
He needs a little
light bulb go on.
He needs a little more taste.
Yes. Okay? You know what it is? You get the gist of it? That's what your outline does. An outline should not consist of your essay split up by the sentences with numbers, letters, and Roman numerals in front of those lines. Okay? We don't want sentences. It's just snippets of information. I wish Hayden was here. I worked with him yesterday, and it was perfect. It was just enough. All right? Enough of a reminder for him to what he was going to include under that main point, but he didn't give too much away. It just maintained the organization of what he was going to do in his project. And in his case, I believe it's a movie. Yeah.
The beauty that I feel that the outline gives you, whether you work from note cards, which is preferred, or other elements, and you put it into that outline, you cannot plagiarize then. It is the foolproof way because you've written down ideas and main points on note cards, and then you've changed those a little bit to organize them into an outline. And then when you come to write, you're just filling in the rest of that smiley face. You're just putting those details in and the rest of the grammar in to make those points go together, and therefore you will not end up plagiarizing.
It's a great point. You don't want to get that route either. All right? So, can you scroll up? Or make this go up. Thank you. All right, so I only have 3 supporting details here. For the magnitude of your projects, you're going to have a lot more. Okay? And if we wanted to, we could have little a's underneath each of these and so forth. It could get pretty crazy. I know for one of my huge papers in college, my outline alone was 6 pages long. It's just the nature of the beast. Okay, so we've given you the hors d'oeuvre, you've had the main course, now it's time for dessert. And that's the conclusion. You need to have your audience walking away with that satisfied feeling of maybe loosening the belt buckle and going and crashing on the couch after their food coma. Right? They need to feel satisfied. All right? You had all this buildup, you had all this support, and now we have to tie the bow on it. Okay? All done. Okay? So, restating your purpose. Why did you do this? Why did I just spend 10 minutes listening to your presentation, reading the essay, watching your movie? Why? Now, some might say, this is just a restatement of my thesis. No, the thesis is what it was about. The restatement is the why question. Why did you inform us about Pearl Harbor? That needs to be included in some way, shape, or form in your conclusion. Okay? Then we get to that summary component. Remind me again, what did you just tell me about? All right, cover your main points. It's brief, it's succinct, straightforward to the point, and then that lasting statement. And I have to say, without having gone through this before the historical narratives, I thought most of you did a wonderful job of a closing statement. It was that lasting impression that I got based on the paper. And in some cases, it helped me clarify things as well. But I was satisfied ultimately with the work that I just listened to. Does that make sense? Yeah? No? Did I lose some of you? Okay? Could you scroll up, down, I guess? All right, there are some rules, okay? And I'll cover them, I'll go back. Alignment, you'll notice, once I have that Roman numeral set, that sets my alignment. So I have my title, which everybody should have. Now some of you struggled with that with the historical narrative. Once I set this up, there's 2 spaces. intro. Once that's done, this sets the tone for the rest of my outline. My capital letters will all be under this capital I in introduction. All right, 2 spaces. What do we have? We have the Y. And then if I had more details there, so on and so forth. Everything stays organized, which I love. Okay? Love outlines. You'll notice the spacing was emulated up above. Okay? Go ahead. Go back up. It's all single spaced. Bring this Roman numeral there so I can talk about a few things. All right? You see I have my 2 spaces, the B on body, my capital A's, B's, C's are all in the line, 2 spaces. First word, you'll notice after any period is always what? And that's the only one that is. What do you see? Capitalization, okay? Keep it consistent all the way through, single spaced. You don't see any extra space between Roman numeral 2 works and Roman numeral 3. It's one of those habits. It looks better if I use more paper. No. Okay? Alignment, spacing, title. The AB12 rule. This is where you can get too detailed, but this is a nice rule to keep in mind, so it limits you. If I have a Roman numeral 1, I have to have a Roman numeral 2. If I have a capital A, I must have a capital B, lowercase 1, 2, etc. We can't have singles hanging out there. All right, and these rules are on the example that you guys have as well. All right. The last one, and probably the most important, and we already covered it somewhat, is to keep it brief. Behind each numeral or letter, it should be 2 to 3 words max. Remember, it's just a hint. It's like my partial jack-o'-lantern up there. Smiley face. We see it. We don't have all the detail of it, but we know what's there, and we know what's coming. Outline's more for you, the author, than it is for the audience, okay? It should be time-saving, but it's going to help you in the overall organization, which in turn will give you a better presentational value of your product, okay? Keep it brief. Now, my only exception to that is if you go up to the introduction, what I've done in the past, because I can gauge essays really well on content, just on Roman numeral 1 of their piece. What I've done in the past, instead of A, and they just have attention there, I would have them write it out for me. Even if that's a whole paragraph, I'd have them maintain the same rules, except for now we are going to do some sentences. That's the only part of it, though. The rest stays brief, concise, short, sweet, to the point. They would write out for me essentially their whole introduction, but behind these letters, so I know what was what. I know what their intro to topic was. I know what their thesis statement was. I know what their main points are going to be. All right? So sentence or sentences could be a paragraph. What if it is an anecdote? Could be a couple paragraphs long, couldn't it? All right? B, 2 to 3 sentences. Qualify that attention grabber. Link it to the thesis. Thesis, 1 sentence. Make sure you're concise. Okay? What is your main idea of the whole piece? How are you going to support that? Boom, boom, boom. And then the transition. Notice you want to maintain fluency, not just between those main points, but among the ideas that you're presenting in that or under that main idea point. Okay? And so here, I've even told you, it could be the last sentence of your introduction or your first sentence of your first main body paragraph. Questions? Feel better about outlining now? Method to the madness? Yeah?
I never got that thing,
Never got that.
the outline.
It is in the project process paper. It's linked to it there, and it's in a folder somewhere as well. So if you open up the project process, in the source shared, oh yeah.